This is what happens when an electric vehicle's lithium-ion battery gets damaged in a collision.
打快点，快点，快点打，快点打！把车往前开，把车往前开，快点！
The risk of a fiery explosive death is higher than any EV owner would like to acknowledge, especially Chinese EV owners, with scores of fires and explosions happening daily in China. This man simply wanted to drive his car when it suddenly alerted him to a fault and started catching fire. Thank goodness it alerted him in time. But it's not just the threat of a fiery self-immolation that fancy new Chinese EVs pose. No. There are increasingly more threats and hazards posed by even the poshest and most expensive brands and models. What I'm about to show you will have you on the edge of your seat. One of the things you can expect with new fancy EVs are lots of high-tech features. Things like self-driving, self-parking. Unfortunately, this is what happened when a Chinese man used the self-parking feature on his fancy new EV. See, the car got confused, and instead of parking, it drove directly into moving traffic. This could have been a massive disaster. This high-tech and brand new Chinese EV suddenly lost control and accelerated at full speed without warning. Smashing into other cars, motorized tricycles, trash cans, and more. But that's not the worst part. If you look at the car, the airbags didn't deploy. This is more common than you think. I've previously reported on airbags failing to deploy on brand new and even flagship Chinese EVs in the past. Why is it that these failures happen? Surely ancient technology like airbags that have been tried and tested in cars since the 70s shouldn't be difficult for Chinese manufacturers to copy and implement?
In the event of a frontal collision, this is what would happen. 100 times faster than we see here, in the blink of an eye.
If you think about it, you've spent more time with your wallet than just about anyone or anything. I mean, wallets are an everyday thing. They go on romantic dates with you, they go on holidays to the beach, overseas. I mean, if your wallet could talk, you'd probably want to put a gag order on it. Here's my wallet. It's got a little wear, or as I prefer to say, character, but it works like the day I got it. It's high-tech with a built-in RFID blocker, the cards fan out with the push of a button. I absolutely love it. So how can it get better? Well, Exter, being the innovative company that it is, keeps surprising me. You know, sometimes you need coins, and that's the Achilles heel of one of these Exter wallets. So they've now invented a coin holder, which for some reason feels very cool and tactical. This is all part of their new card holder add-on ecosystem, which also includes things like a new expansion plate with a built-in money clip. This new card holder has better ergonomics, and they've even improved their already perfected pop-up mechanism, making it all metal. Head on over to partner.exter.com/SerpentZA to get the most badass wallet in the world. Don't forget to use the code SerpentZA for an exclusive bigger discount. Seriously, your wallet is your wingman. Get one that'll last a lifetime. Go to partner.extra.com/SerpentZA. And seriously, don't forget to use the code SerpentZA for that special discount. And now, back to the show. Really, they can't do that right? I mean, the new technology like self-parking, sure. It's still a fairly new thing, but even so, if it's confused, it should have a fail-safe shut-off feature rather than try and drive into the middle of a busy road. Why is it that Chinese EVs are failing these very basic safety features? And why are there so many EV-related fires and accidents in China? So much so that places are banning EVs from underground parking lots all over China. Well, I can explain it with one phrase. China is the land of shortcuts and facades. Hear me out. China was incapable of producing a gasoline-powered car. I'm serious. There isn't one homegrown reliable Chinese gasoline-powered car. All of the internal combustion engines found in Chinese cars are copies of either Japanese, German, or some other foreign engine. There is no homegrown Chinese engine, just derivatives based on existing technology. You see, it's complicated. Internal combustion engines have a myriad of moving parts with extremely low tolerances and zero space for error. The supply chains are very complicated, and the materials and quality that the parts are made out of is very important. I owned and drove a brand new Chinese car for 10 years. Problems that you wouldn't ever expect would crop up all the time. Things like rubber hoses that usually last decades failed after 2 years. Shifter cables that I've never really seen break in a car simply snapped when I was shifting gear. Electrical issues and other mechanical issues cropped up all the time, and it was due to the poor quality of materials and lackluster quality control used in the construction of my brand new Chinese car. EVs are far simpler. Just the electric motor, which is some wire and magnets, the speed controller, which is the computer that runs everything, and the battery, which is chemistry. A far simpler thing to put together, especially if you already have Tesla to copy from. The problem is that the shortcuts that caused China's internal combustion cars to fail and fall apart also cause issues with China's EVs. It's the lackluster quality control and shortcuts when it comes to the quality of components. This is something that China simply can't seem to shake, and it affects every single industry. Somewhere down the supply chain, someone substitutes quality for rubbish so that they can profit more. There's also the responsibility side of things. I mean, recently Jeep had a massive recall, and this was due to concerns that the instrument panel in some Gladiator and Wrangler models could short out and fail. We've seen this happen a lot over the years in the automotive industry. When a quality control issue is identified, the manufacturers initiate recalls and fix or replace the problem. This is because of high standards, intense scrutiny, and the possibility of legal action and repercussions. Chinese manufacturers, however, enjoy a bit of a gray area. The Chinese government is pushing hard for China to dominate the world when it comes to EVs, and so doesn't want bad press to escape the confines of the controlled media ecosystem of China. If there were massive recalls due to deadly issues, it would perhaps throw off international investors or slow down and even put the brakes on overseas countries allowing Chinese EVs to be sold on their shores. While in theory the regulations do exist, we simply don't see many serious recalls on the mainland. I'll give you an example. A recall notice for Chinese EVs sold in Australia was issued in December of 2023. Less than a year ago, and this was because there was a problem that could kill the owner. Turns out that if you unplug the charging cable without manually first stopping the charging process, you could die. This is a very simple and basic safety feature that all EVs have baked in. Most EVs won't allow you to unplug the charger whilst charging, and those that do will immediately cut off the charge. How could such a simple yet deadly mistake make it all the way to Australian shores? Why was this problem not identified in China? Why was a recall only initiated once it was being sold in a foreign market? Simple. Foreign markets have higher standards, and there are more legal repercussions. China is not a free country. And if you almost die due to your car bursting into flames or giving you a shock or the airbags not deploying, it'll be quietly settled. If you try to make a big thing out of it, you'll be taken care of. Remember, Chinese EV companies enjoy government protection and support. The CCP wants the EV sector to succeed and dominate the world, and won't put up with someone making too much noise, potentially scaring off investors and foreign markets. There are many lies and loopholes surrounding the Chinese EV industry, but we'll save those for another day. I hope you've learned something, and until next time, unlike the Chinese EVs that fail at even the most basic of safety features, stay awesome. Hey, I wanted to throw in this funny clip and remind everybody that, Friday is a great time to join us on the China Show. We always cover the latest news in China, but not only that, the fun stuff and all the hilarious things and the funny propaganda and obviously the serious stuff too. But please come over to the China Show on Friday. I'd love to see you there.